being Aries season right now, we're looking at creating a lot of new beginnings. It's important that we remember the saying, you don't harvest the fruit on the same day that you plant the seed. So right now we're really laying the foundation for a lot of new things to start. It's important to understand, however, it doesn't mean that you're going to see the results tomorrow. Is go the slow down. We have been so deep in collective growth lately. Like, oh my goodness, we have been just going through massive growth spurts. A lot of people are going to be shifting how they're interacting with each other. And it can take some time for us to really balance into this new system. So we're really being encouraged to take this next year to actually acknowledge the growth and slow down a little bit. And this is actually going to give us two different things. So when we slow down, this is when we get to integrate the growth. The second thing that comes when we slow down is we allow ourselves to actually recognize how far we've come. This number 2 card is what we need to be letting go of as a collective. And the topsy-turvys come up. So what we're letting go of right now is the chaos. Feeling like they have all this information coming through and the pieces of information make a lot of sense, yet it often feels like there's something there that we're not fully plugging into. It's more like we're being rained down on with bits of information rather than plugging into the bigger picture. So what we're actually gonna gain from slowing down is releasing this confusion and integrating the knowledge so that we can get into the bigger picture. What we need to be willing to let go of, however, is that feeling of confusion, because when we feel into things, when we allow ourselves to hook into an energy or an emotion, we keep it around longer. So keeping that frustration with you or keeping that confusion or chaos with you is going to allow it to continue to fester in your life. So card number 3 is what we are bringing forward with us for the next year. What we're bringing is a really, really deep connection to our guides. So the fiery sword is very forward moving. The way I like to see it is you pick up the sword and you go into the forest and you cut your own path. What it allows us to do is really take control over our journey. But true to a 4 energy, which is a working energy, it is filled with work because you are constantly cutting out that path. It's not like you're following one that was already made. We are being guided to create that path. So at this time, what we are bringing is the seed we've already planted, which is our ability to create and follow our own path. So right now is the time to say screw it to anyone else's path you've been trying to follow. And we really, really need to trust that not only were we born with these beautiful gifts, we were also born with the inner understanding of how to serve these gifts. And they could actually tell like what omens were connected to these animals or what messages they were bringing to you. So when I read this card in my deck, what I actually look into is what sort of past life connections we are bringing forward with us. What's happening is we're going deeper into the layers of who we are. We're going deeper into our development, and so we're going deeper into the roots of what we're connected to. This will be a great year to go really deep into those roots, find where they come from, hoist them out of there, check them out, because it's time to leave them in the past. How we're gonna overcome these obstacles is with number 25, the fairy godmother reversed. Essentially, nobody's coming to save you. Nobody is coming to save you from this because this is yours to deal with. That's why you're still in this pattern. That's why you're still in this pattern. Jump into your beautiful little carriage and get driven off to the Princess Ball. It's not gonna happen, I'm sorry, unless you're driving yourself. I'm laughing because this card came up this way in this exact position in one of my clients' readings earlier. Means that we really want to eliminate our distractions to the little nuisances in life. Imagine if your hearing was made like 10% more sensitive. Imagine how many more sounds you would hear that you weren't used to. It would be so annoying. Imagine your senses being turned up and all of a sudden you're sensing so much more. We already had access to all this awareness in the past. Let me remind you. We had access to all of this awareness in the past. and yet we forgot, or we chose to tune it out. And now we're healing, we're returning back into this big energy. And what we need to remember is there was a time where we were already tuned into it all. We're just going back to that. So it's not that we're getting into something new, it's that we're getting back into something that we already knew. The external influences we are going to have. Another time I pull a card in the same position as I pulled it for someone else earlier. That if you can overcome those problems, if you can overcome that distraction, if you can get into those root things and heal them and start doing the healing process, planting the seeds actually for the healing process and doing it over the next few months, what you're going to find is that the world is literally going to open up in front of you. The final card of the reading is going to be our mantra. Let me put it upright just so you can see what the actual image is. Easy. Is that beautiful or what? The Fairies of the Future comes reversed, tells us that we need to stop worrying so much about the future, and we need to stop looking so hard into the future and playing God. You know the vision's there. You made the vision, you nourish the vision, you've thought about it every freaking day. Don't get me wrong, you know this vision. I know you. I know you. Just start focusing on putting one foot in front of the other, following your intuition, picking up that sword and cutting away one step at a time, and trusting that this vision that you've created for yourself is going to exist in the clearing that you're heading to. Your mantra is, my destiny is inevitable. I enjoy the journey there. Boom.